Everyone, as you all know, I like to talk to everyone within 3 feet of us, and that's exactly what we're doing here through the radio to everyone out there. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. My first guest is on with me once before, but he did something different. I have with me now Daniel Packard, and he's the owner of Daniel Packard Law. I want you to tell, first of all, a little bit about yourself, but also about why you specialize, because you specialize in wills and trusts.
Hi Carol, it's great to be back.
Get back on that mic.
Good to see you.
Okay, good to see you again.
So a little bit about myself. I grew up, sorry I can't talk today. I grew up in Michigan, so I'm from the upper Midwest, came here from somewhere else like a lot of people do. I came here for college and never left because I love Arizona so much. And here I am.
It looks like
all
it. You
these
look
years
like you're
later.
tan.
I am.
Would you go hiking?
Yeah, I love hiking. I love being outdoors. It's a little hot now, so you got to go early in the morning. I love Arizona and I love the outdoors.
And you love the people. And I think what you love the most.
I do. I love helping people.
Exactly.
I love helping people through estate planning. And the other thing we did too, but we won't talk about that today.
Yeah, no, today we're going to focus about the
Exactly.
estate planning, because a lot of people out there, they put their heads in the sand when it comes to this.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is, but for some reason.
Tough conversation. It's tough to think about. It combines things that people don't want to think about and they don't want to face. It's money and passing away.
Yeah.
And people don't want to think about. Really, it's both of those are tough conversations, and this combines two. So when you do an estate plan, you sort of have to face. I'm not going to be on this planet forever, and what happens to my loved ones after I'm gone and on to, something better.
Well, I love talking about what other people don't like talking about.
Okay,
Especially,
that's why we're here.
it is perfect to be here to do that and to educate them. I love this show for that reason. It is a platform for people like you to be able to come on and talk. There are people that have businesses, and to educate the public. So
I appreciate that so much, Carol. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. So first off, I want to talk a little bit about, you do wills and trusts. There's a difference between, you say you can have a wills-based trust or, a will-based plan or a trust-based plan. What's the difference?
Yeah, you can have a will-based estate plan, which means there's no trust involved. There's only a will and a powers of attorney. Or you can have a trust-based plan. So we'll do a trust, a revocable living trust. And you'll also have a will, but what that will does is it catches everything. If you pass and you haven't put things in the trust, the will just put things in the trust that you may have not put in there.
Are there certain things that need to go into a trust that are extremely important?
Well,
like a house?
Yeah. Yes, you'd want to put your house in the trust. You'd want to put anything with a title in the trust. You'd want to put your bank accounts, your investment accounts, things like that. Retirement accounts importantly do not go in the trust, so those need to stay out. Pretty much anything else we want to put in the trust, just for ease of administration after somebody passes. It makes it really easy. You avoid probate. There's no court proceedings, so busybodies can't come in, and people that want to contest your will. It makes it very difficult to impossible to do that.
Right, and how easily can it go into probate?
How easily can it go into probate?
If you don't have, let's say someone doesn't have one, does it right away go into probate?
Oh my gosh, if somebody dies or passes away without a will or a trust or any sort of estate planning, that's what we call dying intestate. That's a formal legal word for, you haven't done any estate planning. And the state of Arizona will essentially write your will for you, but to get to that point, you have to go through a court proceeding called a probate, and you will not have left any instructions, so the court will have to appoint somebody to manage your estate, and it'll have to decide under the Arizona statutes who gets what, and that's all very expensive, and it's entirely possible that at that point your entire estate would just go in fees.
Oh my gosh, it's really scary, and yet people put their heads in the sand when it comes to this always, and not just...
It would take a really long time to get through.
The other thing that I want to say is it's not just regular folks like you and me and the people that are listening. It is famous people. A lot of famous people die without having an estate plan or their trust. I'll tell you something, those people even more so. But I'll tell you, it's amazing.
In the lawyers are fighting for years over.
It's
the
really a
types of
shame, it
estates.
really is. Now, you do something special that you wanted to offer for the people that are listening, that you wanted to do 20% off an estate plan, so it doesn't matter which one they do.
So if you're listening to the show today and you contact me either through my website or over the phone, and you mention that you've heard this show today, I will give you 20% off your entire estate plan.
So you can call him direct. His phone number is 602-906-0311. He's located in North Phoenix, but he works statewide. His website is DanielPackardLaw.com, and there's a contact form there. I have one too, so it's cool that you have it. So it's a contact form there where you can, connect with him, and you can talk to him right from there.
Yes.
Right, so you can go up on that website, which is DanielPackardLaw.com, or you can call him direct at 602-906-0311. Now, for estate planning, first of all, I want to say this right off the bat. Okay, you came in here with nothing, so I get to do this, okay? I want to ask you, people think that they need to have a lot of money in order to have estate planning. Is that true or not?
That's a thought. People may think they need to have a lot of money, otherwise it doesn't matter. I'll tell you, there is not a person in this state or in this country, or I can't speak for the whole world, but because I don't know what the laws are outside the United States, but there's nobody that's going to be better off dying without a will than with a will, because it just takes so much time and inconvenience and do you want the state of Arizona to get everything that you've worked for your whole life, even if it's if it's meager, that's still the product of your life. Do you just want that to go evaporate into the black hole of the state of Arizona?
The black hole.
The black hole. It just goes away and disappears. Or even if it's something small, you got $1,000, you got a couple $1,000s. There are. And let's say you don't have any kids. There are nonprofits in this city and in this state where $1,000 or $2,000 would make a transformative difference in somebody's life. Some program that they do, they feed kids or something like that. Let's leave it to something like that rather than just not do a will and then everything goes away. Or you could be. Do you love animals? You want to leave it to the Humane Society and help animals that don't.
Not only does it give that person the peace of mind, but the people that are left over, that's really, I hate to say it that way, but it's true.
The people and the people, the causes, organizations, everything that you care about and you love, that's what you're thinking about.
What about children with special needs?
Mm-hmm. Children with special needs. So if you have a kid and there's any kind of a problem with that child where they need a special help, then you need a trust-based plan, and we need to provide for that child and make sure they're okay and that their money is administered properly and the child gets the care that they need. Otherwise, it's up in the air.
You can call him direct. He's going to give you 20% off if you tell him that you heard it on Networking Arizona. His phone number is 602-906-0311. You can also go up onto his website and you can check him out there. It's Daniel Packard Law.
Packard.
I'm sorry.
Packard.
Daniel Packard.
Packard Law, LAW.com.
And there's a contact form there. You can check him out there. Hang tight. We're going to be back in just a minute. Now, we're still live here in this room. Yeah, I know. See, now you happen to come in on somebody who we didn't have anything here. So, but we did fine, right?
Yeah, that's
We
great.
did great. Okay, but we're live. So we want to do this. We want to keep on talking in the room. So I want to ask you, I want to also talk a little bit about, we want to go back and talk about, special needs, and for people who may not have their children that they don't want to have had the money all at one time.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Anytime there's
Money
kids,
all at once.
There's kids, especially minor kids, or even kids that are up to 25 or 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you don't want to leave them a pile of money because they'll probably go through it.
Right, exactly. Or what about dusting them off? Do you do second opinions?
What do you mean?
Do you do a second opinion of somebody who might have had it done a while back and need to have it?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, do you call it a second opinion? What do you call that? When somebody's had it done but wants to have it revisited, or whatever you call that?
You can give that, if you think that makes sense, let's call it that.
But also dusting them off, a lot of people had done it a long time ago, right?
Updated, the laws change, your life situation changes. Anytime you have a life change, like a divorce, a marriage, you have another kid, you need to revise your estate plan.
Right, revised.
Any type of life change like that, particularly divorce or marriage.
Sure.
Birth of children.
Now, do you see how you can do this, and how narrow and deep you can go on it?
Yeah, just leave me, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I'm leading you.
Okay.
90 seconds.
I'm here to talk.
Okay, good. What's that? I'm sorry. Did you say something?
No.
Okay. These are all the people that come on the show that have the commercials and stuff like
I
that.
can't hear you with my.
Oh, these are all the people, the commercials that are on. We just had, I don't know if you guys don't know Carmen, I don't think. Carmen, you haven't met Carmen, the beauty.
So.
Oh, yeah, I think you
Oh,
did.
wait, the one
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
beauty
yeah.
products.
Yeah. This is their, what,
Fourth.
third or fourth time?
Fourth time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
What do you guys do?
travel,
Cruise planners?
travel advice.
cruise planners.
We're from Michigan, I think.
Hold on tight.
Cool, I'm from Grand Rapids.
Oh, 'cause we're from Michigan too.
You can plan my next cruise.
No problem. We'll take care of it.
So welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Daniel Packard, and we are talking about estate planning. We're talking about what people don't like to talk about on my show. I love that. But you know what? We all know the importance of it, and a lot of people do this. Oh, yeah, I gotta do that. And they'll write the number down, and they'll put the phone number on their refrigerator or wherever, and oh, yeah. And they seem to let that pass, certain things more than others. And I always say this, I really do. When you think about how we cannot get through to Amazon without telling us who we are for sure by a number, right?
Right.
It's so true. God forbid something happens. A lot of people think that they're gonna die. What happens if you don't die, right? And you're in the hospital, and these are things that are your wishes. They're for you, right? And your loved ones.
Right. And not only are you in the hospital, but let's say, and this has happened a number of times in my practice, where somebody's just incapacitated and they get older and they can't manage their own affairs. Then who takes care of you? Who manages your money? And boy, there can be fights. I've gotten in 2 really protracted litigations where people didn't do proper planning, and the heirs were fighting, and gosh, in one time they took the mom right out of the nursing home, and oh my, this was
Terrible.
This was awful.
It's all about the planning.
It's all about the planning. You got to do this up front, or it just cuts this off.
Now, what he does when you call him and tell him that you heard it on Networking Arizona, he's giving you 20% off. You can have either the will or the trust, or both, or however you have to have.
20% off everything.
Okay, and you can call him direct at 602-906-0311. He works statewide, and his website is danielpackardlaw.com. Now,
That's right.
I want to talk about people who need to have their estate plans revised, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I have that done."
Yeah.
How long ago?
Well, laws change, and your life situation changes. Anytime you have a change in life situation, like a marriage, a divorce, you have kids, you need to revisit that estate plan, because what you had before is probably not going to work for your current situation. And laws do change. Every year they change the estate tax limit. And other laws change as well. There were some big changes regarding IRAs a couple of years ago.
Well, I'll tell you something, I think the most important thing is for you yourself, let's say you were gonna appoint somebody that was gonna be your beneficiary,
Uh-huh.
if that's what you call it. And now maybe things have happened, right? Something happened, and you don't want that person to be the beneficiary, and if you don't get on top of it and have that done, and something happens to you, guess what?
Guess what? Guess what? Yep. Right.
Go ahead.
And I had a situation where a guy wanted to make a change in that very situation, and he had put it off and came to me, and there was a situation with his daughter and his fiance, and he finally came to me and wanted an estate plan, and we were gonna do an estate plan. The next thing I know, before I get it done, I get a call from the fiance saying he'd had a massive heart attack and was in the hospital.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, you just never know how many days we have on this planet.
We don't.
And it's best to get it done while we can, because, you know, some of us are here. My mom is 100 years old.
Oh, well, congratulations, that's really neat.
She is 100 years old, but I can't tell you how many dear friends I have that are not here.
Yeah,
So,
you know.
so we never know. It's like we just draw a number out of a hat, and that's how many years we get.
We just don't know. I know somebody that comes on my show and they talk about God and how he picks his flowers when he wants to pick them. You know, and it's very true. So the fact is that people need to take care of this. And what is the difference? Let's talk about this. I think this is a really good question. Just came up in my mind of having an attorney do it rather than doing it on their own.
Yeah.
Or having it done, let's say, by a document preparer.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
This is tricky stuff, you know, and even the most I do not recommend going online and using online forums. They're inadequate, and I can't say that more strongly enough, that no two people and no two situations are the same. This is not easy stuff. I went to law school for 3 years. I also have an MBA, which is another year. I earned a certified public accountant certificate. You know, I've got a license as a CPA, or had. I'm inactive now, but you know, this is hard stuff. When you want to rewire your house, are you going to an electrician? Or are you going to go to, you know, your brother who thinks, oh, you know, I know how to do it? Or when you need surgery, are you going to go to a brain surgeon or a surgeon? Or are you going to go to your next door neighbor and say, you know, let's get this done? I'm not being facetious. It's very similar, and there are other things that have happened recently too, like non-attorneys coming in, and now they're allowed to own law firms, and what they're doing is offering really cheap discount stuff that's poor quality, and yeah, they hire an attorney right out of law school, and I can tell you that I've been practicing for over 25 years. I used to train lawyers that were right out of law school how to practice law the right way. I did that for a long time, and I can tell you that lawyers right out of law school don't, you know, God bless them, they're on their way, but they
It's experience.
They don't have the experience. You want to go with somebody that's going to get this done right, because the consequences are just too severe. You know, you want something instead of nothing. You want to make sure you have the right thing. Because if you have the wrong thing, it's just as bad of an outcome, and you've spent money on it.
I
So
believe
that's even worse than getting a bad outcome and not spending money on it. I'd rather do that.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that everyone who is 18 years older and older needs to have at least your will done, because you need a power of attorney. God forbid something happens to you right there. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. So
Mhm.
the powers of attorney, you gotta have somebody to manage your money, your financial affairs, a healthcare power of attorney, somebody to make healthcare decisions for you. You're incapacitated, they need somebody to consent to treatment. So who's gonna do that?
I agree. I mean, I think we found it happen over and over and over again. And if you don't have these papers in place, today we live in that world where the security of everything is so high. Believe me, even when you think you have it all done right, It can go wrong. It happened in my family to me. I mean, my dad thought he had everything done right, and it wasn't, because he didn't notarize something as simple as that, and it got passed down to me. Thanks a lot, Dad. But anyway, I mean, seriously though, it does happen, and unfortunately, once you have it done, even then, how often should they take a look at them and dust them off?
Oh, I would say, well, anytime you have a life change, for sure. But, every couple of years, 2 or 3 years.
At least.
Probably good to touch base with an attorney and make sure everything's okay, and, some law hasn't changed, or,
Right.
we don't have this Secure Act that was passed a couple of years and changed a bunch of things, and, the rules on inherited IRAs changed, and that happens from time to time.
Absolutely, and I think it's very important, especially when you think everything is done, that's probably when it's not. I've seen it happen over and over again, even with somebody as close as my ex-husband, who just had his mom, who had thought everything was all done, and guess what? Even though she was able to speak, she was not in the right form of whatever frame of mind. They thought they can go to the bank and get all the things done. Even there, right there's things. It's just tight right now today. You just have to make sure that you take care of things.
Go to an attorney.
He is offering, for everyone that calls him and tells them that you heard it on Networking Arizona, 20% off, whether it's your will or your trust. Either one, you're going to get that 20% off by telling him that you heard it on Networking Arizona. Call him. He's been doing this for 25 years. And he says to go to somebody who's educated, who has that experience behind them, and do not do it on your own.
And I care. I want to help you. I do this because I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about helping people and helping their families. That's it.
The number to call him direct at 602-906-0311. Tell him that you heard it on Networking Arizona, and you're going to get 20% off. Again, you could check him out on his website. It's Daniel Packard Law az.com.
No, just danielpackardlaw.com.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. I got nervous there. So danielpackardlaw.com.
That's fine.
Go to the contact form, and you can fill it out, and you can talk to him from there. He has been doing this for 25 years. I'll say it again. It's danielpackardlaw.com. That phone number to call him direct. Tell him that you heard it on Networking Arizona. It's 602-906-0311. And let me tell you something, folks. It's not just peace of mind for yourself, but really for the whole entire family. And once you do it, you're going to be so happy that you did. And again, if you've had it done and it's been a while, have them dust it off. Call them, tell them that you heard it on Networking Arizona for the 20% off. It's 602-906-0311.
Thank you.